Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb. We have our first winter weather advisories just west of I-81 that we're going to be watching. Snow, freezing rain, and rain making its way across the DMV. We'll break down the timing when our next storm system is about to enter our area. All that's coming up.
The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
A lot of times we try to run away from that grief, but it was nice to have everyone there.
A tragic day for the University of Virginia. 3 football players killed, 2 others hurt when a gunman opens fire on campus.
We have live team coverage tonight as we learn more about the victims, the suspected gunman, and the full timeline of events. Good evening. You're watching DC News Now at 9. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Tasmin Mahfouz.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Flanagan. The man accused of killing 3 UVA students is in custody tonight following a 12-hour manhunt.
Yeah, the attack unfolding on this charter bus that you see on your screen. We're told a group of students were returning from a field trip in D.C. when the gunman opened fire.
Here are the victims, all football players. From right to left, Lavelle Davis Jr., a wide receiver from South Carolina, to Sean Perry, a linebacker and defensive end from Miami, and Devin Chandler, a wide receiver and kick returner from North Carolina. 2 other students were also shot. One of them, identified as Michael Hollins Jr., is a running back on the team. And
the suspect has been identified as UVA student Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. He was a member of the football team in 2018. Now, Jones was captured last night in Henrico County, Virginia, where he spent his first 3 years of high school.
And we have live team coverage of the shootings tonight. Our Daniel Hamburg joining by in studio with us tonight, the victims and what unfolded when.
Yeah, we want to go straight out to Max Marcilla, who's live now on UVA's campus in Charlottesville. And Max, you were at the prayer service and then the vigil at the lawn tonight.
That's right. From start to finish, just a very somber and emotional night here on the grounds of the University of Virginia. This is a day that students here say is traumatizing, is hard to think about. It was hard to go through yesterday. You can see they're still remembering here at the rotunda. There's some memorials with flowers and candles as students have continued to come and have a moment of reflection and remembrance of the lives lost way too soon. Earlier this evening, there was a vigil. It was hosted by students. One student told us they weren't expecting a ton of people, but the University of Virginia community pretty much packed the south lawn here on grounds. There was everyone was given either a candle, a little like tea light candle, or used their phones as a flashlight. Members of the football team were up towards the top of the south lawn, remembering their teammates, their brothers, their friends in what can only be described as just an absolute tragedy. We talked with a couple of students about what it meant to be here with this community on this night, and here's what they had to say.
We have this saying in my country that if one part of your community is hurting, your whole entire community is hurting. It's like your arm or your body hurting, and I just felt that.
It's just absolutely surreal, you know. There's no meaning in any of this. You know, these guys, they had a future, and just the senseless violence is just crazy, and it really makes you question, you know, the general trend, right? Like, how much longer is this going to continue?
Now, throughout the course of the evening, both at the prayer service and then at the vigil, there was just so many people from this community. It's not just University of Virginia students, it's faculty and staff, it's alumni. At the prayer service, I saw the mayor of Charlottesville, Lloyd Snook, was here. State delegate Sally Hudson, a lawmaker who came from Richmond to be here tonight. This is just a community that's really going through a lot and leaning on one another as they work to get through one of the darkest days in recent memory here at the university. Reporting live in Charlottesville, Max Marcilla, DC News Now.
So many heavy hearts. Max, thanks. Meanwhile, it took police more than 12 hours to find that shooter.
And to give us a look at the timeline of how police made that arrest, our Daniel Hamburg joins us live in the studio. And Daniel, the school was under a shelter-in-place order almost that entire time.
Yeah, Tasmin, that's right. Police first reported a shooting on campus at 10:30 last night at Culbreth Garage. Minutes later, police advised students to shelter in place. Almost 40 minutes later at 11:09, police gave a description of the shooter. Then at 12:37 this morning, police identified the suspect, Christopher Darnell Jones. It wasn't until 10:33 a.m. police lifted that shelter in place order, and we learned just before 11 a.m. Henrico police officers took Jones into custody more than an hour away from campus near Richmond. Police say an officer spotted the car Jones was believed to be driving. He was taken into custody without incident. All the while, this charter bus sat on campus for hours. Police say students were returning from a class field trip after seeing a play in D.C. The 3 student athletes were all shot on the bus. 2 were pronounced dead on scene and 1 at the hospital. Devin Chandler, a junior from Huntersville, North Carolina, who transferred to UVA from the University of Wisconsin. He was a wide receiver on the football team, studying in the College of Arts and Sciences. Lavelle Davis Jr. from Dorchester, South Carolina, was also a junior wide receiver, one of 61 players and 8 ACC student athletes on the 2022 Comeback Player of the Year watch list. He was also studying in the College of Arts and Sciences. And Deshaun Perry was a junior linebacker from Miami, Florida. The studio art major was named a 3-star recruit by 3 outlets, including ESPN.com. Jones remains in the Henrico County Jail tonight. In the studio, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
And we're learning more tonight about the suspected gunman, Christopher Darnell Jones Jr.
UVA's police chief says the 22-year-old was on the radar before last night's deadly shooting. There was an incident last year involving a concealed weapon violation outside Charlottesville. They say he was also involved in a hazing investigation on campus. And in September, the school received reports that Jones made a comment about owning a gun. But after investigating, no gun was ever found.
Mr. Jones owning a gun was not made in conjunction with any threats.
And we've also learned that Jones was on the football team as a freshman in 2018, but never played in any games. He played football for his high school team right outside of Richmond, where he earned Student of the Year twice.
And just in tonight, Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin has ordered all flags to fly half-staff tomorrow from sunrise to sunset in memory of the victims, their families, and the Charlottesville community.
Our coverage of the UVA shooting continues in our next half hour, where we're going to hear from a business owner who came face-to-face with the suspect moments before he was captured. And when we're not on air, you can stay up-to-date online just by going to our website, dcnewsnow.com.
All right, let's switch gears now and get a first check in the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb.
Yeah, and Janessa, most of us will see rain tomorrow. Some areas will even see snow.
Yeah, we are kind of have this divide at this point where we're going to deal with some freezing rain, sleet, and increasing clouds across the area. A good bulk of us going to be dealing with a very soggy, rainy Tuesday afternoon. The bulk of this moisture really starts to make its way in for your early morning for most locations well to the south across Fredericksburg into Spotsylvania, and then the bulk of the moisture will happen around that noon hour. So you can see our temperatures across the area, 43 degrees right now across the district into Waldorf, 32, 31 out towards the Kaiser area. So many spots going to be in the 20s. And we do have winter weather advisories. They're currently in place just west of I-81. So we have a few counties across Northern Virginia in those advisories. There are some characteristics that really have to be met for the National Weather Service to issue this advisory. One of them is we're going to be dealing with snowfall across this area. Also, our visibility will be reduced down to about a quarter to a half a quarter of a mile in some of these locations. So this advisory, it's lasting, it starts at 10 a.m. Tomorrow morning and will last until noon Wednesday. Now, there are 3 types of precip that we're going to be dealing with: rain, snow, and some freezing rain. We'll look at totals coming up, guys.
All right, Janessa, thanks. All new tonight, you could soon see a lot more people scooting around the district. D.C. is moving forward with the plans to expand its e-scooter and bike program. Our Marielle Carbone live tonight in Georgetown. And Marielle, this could nearly double the amount of scooters on the streets.
Yeah, it could, Chris. So like it or not, these scooters, they are here to stay. And with changes to how many scooters each company that's permitted in the district is allowed to have, you'll likely notice a difference on your daily commute. Head to some of the biggest tourist spots in the district, and it's likely you'll see dozens of people scooting around.
We've taken it to the White House, to the Capitol.
Belinda Souza is visiting from Switzerland and says e-scooters are her go-to for transportation here.
For us, the cheapest and quickest way to get around.
According to DDOT, people took rides on scooters nearly 4.5 million times between October 1st, 2021 and August 31st, 2022. And soon there could be even more. Last month, DDOT finalized its new e-scooter permitting plans for 2023. Under the new plan, the agency will permit up to 5 e-scooter companies to operate in the district, with up to 5,000 scooters allowed per permit. Scooters will be capped at 20,000 total. Right now, no company has more than 2,500 scooters in its fleet. And in total, there are just under 12,000 scooters in operation district-wide. Permitted companies will also be required to have at least 3% of their fleet in each ward daily to ensure more equity across the entire city. In a statement, DDOT Director Everett Lott says e-bikes and scooters are a fundamental part of our Move DC long-range plan.
Doesn't seem like it's hard to find scooters, so.
Still, some district residents like Annika Johnston aren't sold on the need for more scooters. First, she'd like to see more education around the ones that already exist.
There just needs to be better awareness of street safety. People don't know what you're supposed to do, and that just kind of leads to a lot of accidents.
And permitted companies are supposed to educate their riders the first time they hop on one of these scooters or the bikes. Now, these new permits, they will go into effect for 2 years once they're issued in 2023. Reporting live in Georgetown tonight, I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
All right, Marielle, thank you. When we come back, comedian and former late-night talk show host Jay Leno taken to a burn center after a car erupted in flames. His condition and recovery next.
And could 2 Frederick County schools be merging into one? A plan to combine the buildings is met with uncertainty. You're watching DC News Now at 9 o'clock. We're back right after this.